The trial of William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang before the International Criminal Court continued from the 4th to 11th March 2014 with the testimony of the 13th prosecution witness who testified under the pseudonym P-0442. The witness testified under the protective measures of a pseudonym, facial pixilation, and voice distortion. Parts of the testimony were given in private sessions closed to the public to preserve the confidentiality of the witness's identity. During open sessions, the witness testified about the area of Kapsabet town in the Rift Valley province during the period of the 2007 presidential elections. She said the area was mostly populated by people from the Kalenjin ethnic group, but there were also Kikuyus. The witness explained that in her region, ever since the period of the 2005 constitutional referendum, Kalenjins considered the Kikuyus to be responsible for land ownership issues. The witness explained that in her region, ever since the period of the 2005 constitutional referendum, Kalenjins considered the Kikuyus to be responsible for land ownership issues. She added that during the campaigning for the 2007 elections, such positions were expressed by ODM, Orange Democratic Movement, party representatives during a political meeting in Kipchoge Stadium, which she said she briefly attended. When the election results were announced, the witness saw demonstrations being organized and violence starting near her home. On 1st January 2008, she was fleeing with her children, and on the road she encountered several roadblocks guarded by armed Kalenjin youth. During the next few days, she hid in the bush, stayed at another person's house, then took refuge at the Kapsabet police station before eventually being taken to the Eldoret showground amongst a group of internally displaced persons. Throughout her testimony, the witness also testified about listening to Joshua Sang's morning program on radio, Kass FM, during the time of the events. The witness quoted several statements she remembered Mr. Sang saying on the air. She said that just before the elections, Mr. Sang was calling on people to protect their votes. And when the election results were announced, she said Mr. Sang said on his show that votes had been stolen and people should come out and fight for their rights. The witness was examined by prosecution trial lawyer Lara Renton.
Yes, personally, I got a chance to listen, and I heard, and others as well. We heard Mr. Sang saying the work was done properly, but it wasn't finished yet, because in areas like Kericho, Nyagacho, and Molo, Kwekwe was still in the field.
Which people was he talking about?
According to my thoughts and other people's thoughts, there was no one else he was talking about during that time apart from the Kikuyus.
How did he refer to those people?
He said that Kwekwe hasn't been cleaned up. Maadui, he used many names at that time. And we knew it was us he was talking about because there was no secret at all at that time.
The word Kwekwe, can you tell us what that means?
Yes, Kwekwe is grass growing in the field. It has roots deep in the soil. When one is farming on the field, one removes Kwekwe. It is garbage that grows on the field.
Following the prosecution's examination, the witness was cross-examined by the defense counsel for Mr. Ruto, David Hooper, QC, mostly in private session. During brief open sessions, the witness stood by her testimony regarding the demonstrations and violence she witnessed when the election results were announced. During the cross-examination by Mr. Sang's defense counsel, Joseph Kipchumba Kigen Katwa, put to the witness that she was not telling the truth about listening to Kass FM and had made up a story against Mr. Sang. In order to support his assertion, Mr. Katwa referred in particular to several audio excerpts from broadcasts of Mr. Sang in which he was pleading for peace. The witness rejected the defense counsel's assertion and stood by her testimony. She indicated that she had never heard those broadcasts before and that she never heard Joshua Sang calling for peace over the radio.
Witness, you already confirmed that you told the prosecution on the Thursday, the 6th of March 2014, that you had Sang use those incitement words including kwekwe, unyot, and kamama in the period end of January or early February. You recall saying that, witness?
Ndio.
Yes.
And witness, I have shown you recordings by Kass FM variously on 31st January, 30th January, and 4th February, and you are unable to recognize any of them. And the reason I put it to you, witness, is that you never used to listen to Kass FM and that you just concocted a story against Mr. Sang, whom you clearly dislike.
Hapana, na naweza kufafanua?
No.
Is it your testimony now that you acknowledge that Sang actually pleaded for peace in February and March 2008?
Sijui.
I don't know.
The next trial hearing in the case of William Ruto and Joshua Sang is scheduled for 31st March 2014 with the testimony of the 14th prosecution witness.
Upon conclusion of the trial proceedings, the trial chamber issues its decision acquitting or convicting the accused. If the accused is convicted, the trial chamber issues a sentence for a specified term of up to 30 years, or when justified by the extreme gravity of the crime and the individual circumstances of the convicted person, life imprisonment. The trial chamber may also order reparations to victims. Convicted persons will serve sentences in one of the countries designated by the court from a list of states that offer the court the use of their prison facilities. The office of the prosecutor, the defense, the legal representatives of victims have the right to appeal the verdict and the sentence. In this case, a new chamber, the appeals chamber, is created for the appeals proceedings. The appeals chamber consists of 5 judges who can confirm the decision of the trial chamber, reverse or amend the decision of conviction, or order a new trial before a different chamber.